Good morning, welcome to my channel. I'm Jennifer, this is A Country Life. I've got Joe with me today and we have come into town. Yes, it is snowing and we're supposed to be under a winter weather warning, I believe. But it's really not that bad, honestly, except for the drivers without their lights on. That is a problem. If you are one of those people that do not put your lights on when it is snowing, you need to start. That's all I'm gonna say. All right, we're gonna head into a couple of stores. I'm just gonna take you guys along. Yep, we're going into Marshall's, gonna take you along on just a little bit of our kind of Christmas prep, still picking out a few Christmas presents that I've kind of been thinking about, and yeah, just kind of taking you along on our day. Well, Joe and I were just at Marshall's, completely forgot to film anything there. We were looking for a few Christmas presents. Now it looks like Santa is looking for a few things here. With today's meal, I'm going to make Joe and Peter very, very happy. I'm putting together the lasagna finally. This recipe is on page 19 in cookbook number 1, and it's just called Easy Lasagna. Such a great and simple recipe. I always say this, there's no funny stuff in it, so it tends to be something that kids like. Is that Dad home right now? Yeah, oh, okay. You want to make this with plenty of time so that it has time to cool off and set up. Yep. Okay. Also, a couple other tips is to spray your aluminum foil so it doesn't stick to the cheese during baking, and also to set this on a tray, because sometimes you might get some like steam buildup underneath the foil and then it may drip down. And if you want to keep your stove clean, which I really want to keep my new stove clean, I'm going to put this on a tray. I'll put this in the oven at 350 degrees for 1 full hour. Sometimes towards the end, like maybe in the last 10 minutes, if I remember, I will take the foil off so that the cheese has a little time to get maybe just a little bit brownish. I'll put the foil back on when I bring it out of the oven and just let it rest for a good 15 minutes so it can really set up. That's how it will serve the best. So stick around for the whole video because it's going to be all kinds of just in the kitchen and little bits of this and that. I think there might even, if I remember right, I think there's even a little bit of maybe a little bit of a shopping or something, but the end of the video is where you are going to see all of the Christmas baking, or at least some of the Christmas baking that I do this year. Well, let's get into this here. I am actually going to use the Reese's Pieces cookie recipe, but it's not going to be peanut butter. It's going to be Andy's Mints. So we were at our homeschool Christmas ball and someone had made it was a chocolate cookie, and on top of it they put the Andy's Mint, probably when it came out of the oven, and let it. I didn't see them. Oh, you didn't see that? Oh, I got one. Dad got one of those for me because he knew I'd like it. I'm pretty sure what they did is once the cookies came out of the oven, they kind of pressed it in and let it melt just a little bit. So Peter is here and he is just unwrapping the Andy's Mints, and that's what we're gonna do. I love my other recipe, which is for, I think it's called like Andy's Cream de Mint cookies or something like that. And I really like that recipe, but I wanted a full chocolate cookie this year. So that's what we're gonna do. Peter has those unwrapped for me, which means I better get going on the cookie dough. So into the KitchenAid, 1/2 cup of butter, 1/2 cup of shortening, and cream. 3/4 cup white sugar, 2/3 cup of packed brown sugar,
Yum, 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 yum.
And cream again. 1 teaspoon vanilla, 2 eggs, cream again. I'm going to scrape the bowl. 2/3 cup unsweetened cocoa, 2 1/4 cup flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, just kind of sprinkle that over, and 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And again, I'm just going to sort of sprinkle it over. And then just mix kind of slowly. 3/4 cup chocolate chips. I'm going to chill this dough for 1 hour. Next up are candy cane cookies. So, 1/2 cup of butter. We're going to do the same thing. 1/2 cup of shortening. And since my KitchenAid bowl has the dough in it chilling, I'm just going to mix it like this. Let's cream the butter and the shortening. And then we need 1 cup of powdered sugar. Is that 1 cup? Yes, that's 1 cup. Start it low so the powdered sugar doesn't blow all over the kitchen. 1 egg. 2 teaspoons of almond extract. 1, 2, and 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. Get that mixed. I'm going to measure the salt because I want a scant 1/2 teaspoon. So I actually measured, and then I'm going to just shake out a little bit of that. And then we need 2 1/2 cups of flour. We're going to mix that slowly. There's my dough. I'm going to divide this in half. So I'll just kind of bring it together into a ball and then divide it in half as best I can. That looks pretty good. This is the Dirty All the Dishes Day. That is what today is called. Some people call it the Cookie Making Day. Basically, it's Dirty All the Dishes Day. Now, in here, we're going to add red food coloring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I don't know how much. Oh, it says 1/2 teaspoon. Let's see if that's not enough. I didn't measure. We'll just mix. Oh, that's going to be great. There's my dough. We're going to set the cookie making off to the side for a moment, and it's time to get ready for lunch. I have a little bit of leftover chili. We ate that for supper one of the nights, and then anyway, it was a leftover for lunch, and it looks like there is a good amount because I made a really, really big pot of that. I also have just a little bit of the crock pot ramen. And so I'm going to get that put back together. And actually, Sam's suggestion, since the noodles didn't want to, when you served it up, you tended to get a lot of noodle and not quite as much of the meat and veggies. And it was plenty salty, flavorful. I'm going to add a little water to this. I'm going to add another block of ramen and get that warming on the stove. And then that will be part of our lunch. I have this fruit over here. So I have raspberries, grapes, a little bit of leftover mandarin oranges, a shriveling up orange, and a couple of pears. So I'm going to cut that all, make a little fruit plate, and that pretty much is going to be our lunch. I also have some bread here, and I have some ham. So if somebody wants a ham sandwich with some lettuce and cheese, they can do that too. I only have 21 of the Andes little candy mints, and so I have 21 of the cookies. I'm going to do like that. And then you just saw me put into the oven some with the little peppermint candies. So I sprinkled some of those. And then I have this 9, which is just some green and white sugars. So these will have like no peppermint or mint flavoring to them. 8 minutes in the oven, 350 degrees. All right, I'm back to the, what is this called? Candy cane cookie dough. Now, in years past, I would try to take a little piece of the white dough and a little piece of the red dough and roll those in 2 strips and then kind of twist them together. That is extremely tedious. And one year, Warren and I were working on this together, and I don't really remember what it was. But anyway, we just found that actually what worked pretty well, and this might not be enough, but we just put a little glob of each one together, and then oh yeah, that's not gonna be enough at all. And then what we did is we just rolled that into a log and then shaped it into the shape of a candy cane, and it actually works just as well. Ah. Okay, look at that. That's going to be just great. I'm going to put it on my tray and shape it to a candy cane and bake it just like that. That face says this isn't going well. Peter's a little frustrated because he says that his candy canes, the weight is not distributed very well. But we're doing it.
That's not that bad.
Yeah, that one's good. That one's good. I took these out at 8 minutes. I just let them sit on the pan. Actually, it was just for 2 minutes, but now it's actually already been 4 minutes. So I'm going to get these off, cooling, and I'm just lining my table over here with foil because it's the easiest for cleanup. Here are the 3 different ways that I made the chocolate cookies. And so with these, with the Andes Cream de Mint ones, I just pressed the little piece of chocolate once they came out of the oven, let them stay on the pan for 2 minutes, and then I just remove them. You kind of have to be careful because, you know, the chocolate gets all melty and it will kind of pool and then drip over the edge if you're too quick to move the cookie from the pan to the foil. At this point now, I am going to make another batch of the candy cane cookies, but I will color it green, and we're going to make spritz trees. So that's another favorite of everybody's. Honestly, not me though, but my entire family likes them, so I keep making them. One tip when making the Christmas trees spritz is that I like to add in my green food coloring in when I'm doing the wet ingredients. I forgot. I just started to blend the dry in, but I'm going to put the green in now. I don't end up over mixing the dough if I put it in early, if I have to put it in later. And then sometimes, you know, with the dough being a little on the drier side, you don't, because this dough is a little bit drier, you don't want to over mix to try to get it all of the food coloring mixed in. Sometimes it just ends up like streaky. Just ends up streaky. So we're going to put some green food coloring in. And there's the little gob of it right there. As I mix, it should mix in fairly well now. So much better when I mix it into the wet ingredients. I'm just getting the oven set to 350 degrees so that I can get the lasagna in. It is about 20 to 4. I want it to be able to go for a full hour and have at least 15 minutes to set up, Figured we'd probably eat around 5 or so, something like that. And next up, I'm going to whip up some deluxe sugar cookies. So I like this to have time to chill. And so maybe we'll make the cookies tonight. Maybe it won't happen until tomorrow, but I thought I would at least get the dough going. This is another recipe right from my cookbook. I'm going to hold it like that. If you guys want to screenshot it, feel free. This is in cookbook number 2 on page 64. This is the deluxe sugar cookie recipe I've been using since I was a kid. Then, a couple of years ago, I don't know when it was, Peter ran across this cutout cookie recipe and he started making these, and these are also very good. I actually went back and forth, like what do I want, what do I want? But I decided on the deluxe because it has cream of tartar, and for some reason we all just think cream of tartar means Christmas, and so that's why I am settling on this recipe today. So we're going to do 1 cup of butter. Now, also in cookbook number 2 on page 68, I'm going to be doing a recipe called soft molasses cookies. So I have 1 stick of butter, 1½ cups of regular granulated white sugar, 2 eggs, whoops, ½ cup of molasses. Spray your measuring cup. That helps it come out a lot easier. Ow, hey. Now, over the wet ingredients, I'm going to sprinkle all of these like dry kind of spices and leavening agents. Okay, so 2 1/4 teaspoons of baking soda. Oh, whoops. All right, sorry about that. In the list of ingredients, for some reason, the shortening is down towards the bottom instead of up by the butter. So I also need ½ cup of shortening. And we'll do another blend. All right, so 1½ teaspoons of ground cloves, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. We need 2 1/4 teaspoons of ginger and 1½ teaspoons of cinnamon. Oh gosh. All right, now I'm going to add in the flour, which is 4 cups of flour. 1, 2. I'm going to end up refrigerating the dough because I already have my oven in use. You know, because the lasagna is in the oven. I'm just going to put this into the airlock. It's nice and cold. Airlock is just a little space between 2 doors, an outside door and an inside door. We've got a couple shelves in there. I'm going to set this up on the shelf and it'll stay nice and cold. It is about 14 degrees right now. It is Sunday, 5 after 4, fourth Sunday of Advent Mass, donuts, leftover lasagna for lunch, drove a friend home, did a little Christmas shopping, trying to encourage and empower Peter and Maria to get the house tidied up and just put back in order. And I'm working on making the cutout cookies. So I have the first rolling of half of the dough here. And I got out the big one pan. I'm very excited actually for this. I'm gonna get a lot of cookies on this pan. I have my oven set to 375 degrees. I pulled out just a few cookie cutters. I have a lot of different Christmas cookie cutters I could pull out. It can just sometimes get a little overwhelming, I think, if there's just too many shapes. Maybe that's more when I had little kids, but anyway, this is what I did today. Pulled out just a few, couple of stars, the snowman. I like this tree. I've always liked this tree. I have another tree I really like too, but I left that one in the thing, in the container. This little church, the sleigh. I'm not sure if we've used the sleigh in a long time. The camel. My mom always did camel cutouts. And then this one star and a bell. Of course, a bell always. So anyway, there's my Christmas cookie cutters for today. I have my dough rolled. I'm going to do sleighs here. Let me check if my pan needs to be oiled. Yes. I'm going to lightly spray that. I like to use one of these with holes in when I'm lifting cookies like this. Ooh, I remember why we don't use the sleigh, because it's got a lot of little spots for error. Oh yeah, I see that. Okay. Well, we'll try to do a few. I see it must not be level all the way. All right, let's put that one on. Let's try another one. It's right here that it likes to give grief. Right there. It's almost like it gets smaller. Okay, this cookie cutter is gonna have to go.
After I like...
Right, this cookie cutter is going in the trash.
Sounds fun.
For comparison, and I know that cutout cookies are all different sizes, but on my regular Nordic ware, like whatever that is, a half sheet pan or something, I got 14 cookies. And on the big one pan, I got, did I get 21 or 22? 21, 20, oh, actually 23. I actually got 23. So it really is, it's a great addition to my kitchen. I'll just say that. I love it. I had these in for 7 minutes, and I do like to let them just sit on the pan for about a minute. Whoops, I didn't set my timer. Probably already been a minute. All right, so we're going to take these off, and I saved my foil from yesterday's cookies. I just unfolded it again, and we're going to use it to cool all of these little cookies. These are so pretty. Even the little sleighs turned out. I wouldn't normally chill the soft molasses cookie dough, but yesterday, you know, it was just busy and I had to get the supper into the oven, the lasagna, and so I chilled it, and that's just how it is. Now I pulled it out, and I'm going to use my cookie scoop and make small balls and roll them in sugar. Actually, I usually just dip the tops in sugar, just like that. I'm going to use the same cookie sheet as the cutouts. We'll bake these at 350 for, I think, just about 8 minutes. I'm making them pretty little So maybe even less time than that.